recently I've been getting lots of questions about the girls and their home education.
Life with the Baldwins. I haven't touched upon them for such a long time. We have such a good history as well as me and Kaylee, or Kaylee and I, to use a home educatory term. So, what have they been up to? What is the ins and the outs, Kaylee, you're going to share with the room? Right, I've heard some good things about you, Kaylee. I've heard that you are doing some brilliant colouring in for your homework. Or is that the kids that are doing that? Either way, one of you are doing colouring in and you are doing home education in the best way that you know how. And I cannot be prouder of Kaylee and the other guy. Kev, isn't it? That's his name, Kev. Sorry. He's a bit part player in these vlogs. Alright, so it's easy to forget. Sorry, Kev. Alright. So, yeah, I thought I'd have a little look to see what the Baldwins are back up to again, you know, because we had that little to-do a little while ago, didn't we? And they took the entire channel down, and they vowed never to exploit their kids again or endanger their kids. They vowed that was never going to happen, but they did, right? They brought it back, and then he went hell for leather to do it, isn't it? That's right. So we're going to look upon today this specific vlog. It's all about the homeschooling, how it's going. Is it going well? Is it going badly? Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen it. We're going to watch this together. So let's get a move on and see just how Kaylee is cracking on with her home educating.
I put out a question box on the community post for doing a Q&A, and I may as well just do a Q&A home education edition, because I'd say 90% of the questions are in regards to home education.
Well, we've already seen what your home education is all about, Kaylee, and that is, did you actually stand over your child whilst they were colouring in here, doing their homework? Did you actually stand over them with a camera whilst they're actually trying to work? And you know, you shouldn't actually do that, filming your kids doing homework or schoolwork or anything like that. You know, it's an invasion. It's an invasion, and also they're supposed to be concentrating and not being monetized.
I do think people are just genuinely curious. I don't think many people understand home education or what it should look like.
True, Kaylee, true. But also, I feel like a lot of people, especially your fan base, or, you know, supporters or haters, detractors, etc., probably want to know what you specifically are doing to educate your kids, because let's be real, okay? You don't come across as the most intellectual, educated person yourself. Not saying anything bad about you, Kaylee, sorry, okay? I think you're lovely, all right? It's everybody else, right? They're all saying this stuff. I'm not saying this stuff. I would never say this stuff to you. Of course I wouldn't. I think you are really educated and, you know, fascinating as a human being. Definitely. But everybody else, they want to know why or how, in actual fact, that you actually get to educate your children when you're struggling yourself a little bit with English.
And there isn't really any hard and fast rules on what home education should look like. Lots of people do it differently, and
this is the bit that I don't get about home education, right? Yeah. Of course, there's different ways of doing it. The reason why you take kids out of school are vast and many, but a lot of it is to do with choices. You know, if you leave your kid in school, they have to follow this specific thing that's taught in school that day, every day, each year, right? But if you take them out of school, you do it so that you can teach them what you want to teach them, learn at their own pace, and maybe learn different things, right? But surely there's got to be some form of structure at some point, hasn't there? Surely, you know, it's all very well and good taking them outside so that they can do plant-based work. And when I mean plant-based work, I mean looking at plants, potting plants, plant potting. That's if you're going down that route in life, it's all the luck to you. Horticulture, isn't that? Is that what it is? Something like that. Anyway, it's something else. I don't know. Plants, right? If you want to work with plants, you can do that. But, there's got to be some sort of structure. They need to be able to learn to read and write, add things up, multiply things. Yes, because those things are also very important. I know people say, oh, yeah, but maths. Well, when do you use maths? You use it every day. Don't be so stupid. All right, every single job that you ever do will need maths. So just drop the shit, right? Just drop it. Everybody, that is not just Caitlin.
I've been doing it for a year since yesterday. Yesterday was 1 year to the day since I deregistered Sienna.
Is it really that long? I think that was probably around the last time I did a video on these, when they deregistered Sienna. Well, one of them anyway, did one of them, deregistered one of them. The two of them, I get confused by the names, but she took one of them out of school, and one of them was putting up a fight at school, and it was a whole big thing anyway. But it's been a year. Wow. Have they learned anything in that time?
So I've been going to home ed groups now for a year. I've met lots of other home ed families, and no two families are doing things the same. Everyone has their own rhythm, their own approach to learning.
Is there any like you? Go on, tell me, Kaylee, tell me. Is there any actually like you who film their kids doing their education for money and for clout and exploitation purposes? I bet that's why there's no two the same, because there's none like you, because nobody else does home education like you, except for those on YouTube. Obviously they all do the same, but we're talking about you right now, so don't think you're getting let off the hook there, Kaylee. We're not going to let you away with this one. Come on now.
And it's so friendly. Like, everyone is so accepting of how people choose to do things differently. For us, we don't have a strict routine. I'm not like, you've got to be up, you've got to be dressed by this time. We're sitting down at the table at 10 a.m. to do English, 11 a.m. it's maths, lunch is at 12. We're not mimicking school.
I can quite believe that. I'm honestly, if I had to guess before you actually said that, I would say you were one of those families that had no routine at all, right? Do you actually do anything though? Because, of course, you can do homeschooling and you don't have to have a set routine. You don't have to be up at a certain time. I just get the impression, right, that you and your family could really benefit from a bit of routine, all right? Just a little bit. You don't have to be up and dressed by 8 a.m. and start and crack on with your maths work. No, you don't have to do any of that. But getting up, getting your kids ready, that would definitely benefit somebody like you. Although from your perspective even, you probably prefer your kids to get themselves up whenever they're ready, and you can get on with your day because you take a long time to get things organised in the day, don't you? Because you have a lot to do and you have a lot to sort out, and you got breakfast to be made and things like that. You're probably glad not to have to do the school run every morning, because that was just a pain in the neck and an inconvenience to you, I'm sure.
Become more and more important to me as the time has gone on, that we learn through their curiosity more than anything else. So if they're curious about something, that's when we learn about it.
Of course, that is a standard way of learning. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong, Kaylee. That goes for whether they're in school or out of school, whether they're in the playground or whether they're out in the park or whatever. If they're curious about something, it's easier for them to learn because they are interested in it. You have to get something that they are interested in and then they'll learn it. It's no problem, all right? But The problem is, what happens if they don't ever become curious? I'm curious how you would handle that one.
I feel like you maintain more information if you were genuinely curious and you went out and sought that information yourself.
Oh, you were so close to a good point there, Kaylee. Yes, you were right. You're spot on. But seeked. You never get seeked. You don't seeked any information. No, they sought the information when you sought the information, not when you seeked it. Home education, Kaylee. It's important to learn these things so you can pass them on to your God forbidden kids. I don't know why I said God forbidden. Please help me. Your children need to learn from you, and so you need to learn yourself. I feel right.
Rather than when you're in school and you're told, right, today we're learning about the Victorians, and tomorrow we're learning about electricity. I feel like when you are curious of something because something has ignited that curiosity, that's when you're best going to learn.
I agree, Kaylee, I agree. But what happens when they don't ever show an interest in how electricity is made and things like that? What then? When do you bring that up as a subject matter? I'm not trying to be facetious. I am just trying to get to how you educate your kids, because genuinely, I don't know. I don't home educate my children, right? I don't do it. So I need to know how you do it, just in case it's a future career prospect of mine.
So, like, for instance, Felicity was walking through the woods and there was a great big bumblebee, and she asked me, how do the bumblebees collect the pollen and get it to the hive? And, she was really interested in that. And
okay, you want to nurture that curiosity about the bumblebees, because my natural question, if I'd seen a bumblebee when I was younger, would be, Mummy, why is it so fluffy? I'd be more curious about the fluffiness, because let's be real, bumblebees are fluffy and they're cute and they're adorable, and I'd want to take one home with me, and I couldn't take one home, so it would be like a disaster in my brain. So nurture that natural curiosity about the bumblebees and their pollen and things.
We went away and we found out all of the answers to her questions. But that said, I am still trying to follow the national curriculum for English and maths more so than anything else. And you might have spotted it. It was behind me. I'm a little bit not secretive, but a little bit guarded over what I share in regards to their home education.
Are you really? Well, you filmed your child doing some work at the beginning of this video. That doesn't seem to be very guarded. And also, why are you guarded? Right, okay, so I'm going to guess the reason why she's guarded is not to protect the privacy of the child, right? And it's not because she doesn't want to film her children doing their schoolwork. It is because they don't want to be criticised as parents, as teachers to their children. That is why, right? This is why none of these people ever want to share the schoolwork. It's because they don't want criticism of themselves, not because it's a moral privacy issue.
Because people can be so unkind. So
called it. Absolutely called it. It's a selfish me thing, that is. It's me. I don't want to be called out for it. People can be so unkind. We're going to protect ourselves from being slated online for not educating our children, or not doing this or not doing that. The point is here, not whether or not you do that, or do this or do that, or do your English well or do your maths well. None of that actually matters as long as you know that they are doing it right. But what matters here is that you don't protect your children for their sake, right? You protect your children for your sake, so that you don't get slated. Nothing to do with your kids' safety.
when I saw it was behind me, I was a bit like, oh gosh, should I refilm that and turn that bit of paperwork round? But to be honest, it's nothing that you wouldn't be able to find if you searched the national curriculum. So basically, I've searched the national curriculum for year 2 and year 4, and I've listed down what subjects, what things are covered in maths and English in year 2 and year 4, and I've got it all listed down.
Hang on a second though, right? I thought you people, and by you people I mean family vloggers, they all say the same thing, right? I thought you believed in not pushing your kids to learn the exact same things as other people of their own age, right? So why does it matter what I usually learn in years 2 and 4? Because what if one of your kids is less than a year 2? What if they are currently at a year 1 level? What if the other one is at a year 5 level? You know, they might be smarter than you basically. And you know, yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it? But on this, you're actually thinking that you should stick. I mean, I agree with you. Try and keep up with what is a national standard, because you know, otherwise educationally and developmentally later on in life they're going to struggle. So keep up. But a lot of people don't agree with that. Well, family vloggers don't agree anyway.
And that's my go-to to check off that we've covered those subjects and the girls have an age-appropriate understanding of that subject. But there is things that are in the year 2 curriculum as well as the year 4 curriculum, but obviously the understanding has to be more age appropriate. So today we've done some more work on homophones, and Felicity's understanding and use of homophones is obviously got to be more cemented than what Sienna's currently is. So Sienna needs to be able to understand what a homophone is.
Oh, this is awkward, isn't it? Maybe you could educate me, actually, as we go. Maybe. In fact, there's a good thing for a channel for you, Kaylee. You know, you could be like a school teacher teaching people on your channel. Right, this is how you do this. This is what this means. This is 2 + 2. This is equals whatever. You know, and educate people how to do things. Right. I don't have a clue what a homophone is what I'm trying to say. All right, tell me what it is, please. I don't think homophones were things when I was at school. Don't think, anyway. Maybe I missed that. Maybe I was off that day.
And you know, understand that we say the colour blue, and we also say we blew up a balloon. So the sound.
What? Is that even a thing? Okay, so I'm not having a go at Kaylee's thing, but the colour blue, and we blew up we blew something up. I blew up a balloon, right? But they're two different words. They're not the same word, are they? No, they're not the same word that mean the same. That mean different things. They're different words. Is that something that would be confused ever? Blimey. Wow. Genuinely, I'm a little bit dumbstruck. Genuinely. Maybe it's me that needs to go back to school. Comment down below, guys. What the hell is going on? What they're talking about?
Afternoon, Felicity has done some worksheets on homophones, and she's done a piece of text which has been written with the wrong spellings, and she's had to go on and correct it. So she's done that, as well as other bits. And in a moment, they're both going to do a game that I've set up, where I've placed out all the homophones, well, not all of them.
A game, you say? But have you laminated them? All right, I thought that was the in thing. Lamination is where it's at.
But quite a few homophones, and then they've got these little cards that say things like a series of directions on a map, and they've got to match that up to the right spelling, so a route. the part of a plant that keeps it securely in the ground, the root. So they've got to find the right one. So this is more age appropriate for Sienna, whereas obviously this would be too advanced for Sienna. So they're going to do that in a moment.
Well done, Kaylee. You're getting it, you're grasping it. This has been like a year of homeschooling, and you have come on leaps and bounds, much more than I ever thought you could be. You know that.
This morning I just left them to play, and that's why we don't have like a routine, because I think play is so important. And whilst they were playing happily and they were being, you know, imaginative and creative, I never want to interrupt that for them. And then they've had their lunch, and then they turn the television on and they started to bicker. So that's when I go, right, now it's time. Now it's the right time of today to do some learning. So yeah, I will go into it more on a video at some point. Like I'll do a, you know, if people want me to do a Q&A on home education. I still don't think I feel qualified enough to talk about home education, but then I don't know if I ever will feel qualified enough, because it really is so personal to the individuals. Like I said, there's not two sets of parents that I've ever come across that are doing it exactly the same. Everyone has different feelings around it, different beliefs, different ways of doing things, and that's totally okay. So yeah, maybe I will do the Q&A on, well, all the questions that have been asked, but I definitely don't feel like I'm quite qualified enough to give any advice on home education, because it's really not something that has a rule book. It's something that you definitely have to find your own way with. The part of a plant that keeps it securely in the ground. Root. Good girl, Sienna. Pop that on top.
What the hell? That just took a dark turn, didn't it? Just randomly threw in a clip of them actually doing this schoolwork. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? There's good parenting there, Kaylee. You know, setting up the camera, filming whilst they're doing their schoolwork. Lovely. Absolutely. You know that should be illegal.
Something you can do with your eyes. What can you do with your eyes? Well done, Lissy.
Here? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's your ear.
You can't hear with your eyes.
Hang on, they're both doing the exact same thing, though. You just went through a whole segment of telling us how one child is too advanced for this, one child is on this and that, and they can't be doing the same thing because they're not at the same level, you know, they're both at different age groups. And with that, I think we are done with Kaylee and her little home education educatory vlog today. So, well, what have we learned today? We've learned that Kaylee is using her kids for content on the education. Whether or not they're getting the proper education, I don't know. To be honest with you, what she said sounded quite reasonable when she said that she wouldn't interrupt their play because that's not the right time to learn. But when they were starting bickering and things like that, then maybe that's the time to get them sat down to learn some stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm being reasonable here, Kaylee. I'm just saying that could be good, and you know what you're doing. I would have thought more than I do. However, using your kids for content in order to, you know, you're filming them do that homeschooling isn't really where it's at, in my opinion. So guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this entire video. Do you like Kaylee's way of homeschooling? Is there anything that I've missed? I've only focused on that one particular vlog, so maybe there's other things that I've missed that she's been doing. Let me know in the comments down below, and until next time, give this video a massive thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because we need some more people. Thank you. No, that was shit.